Hello and welcome back to the Wasteland, everybody. Welcome back to Fallout 4, where today we're going to be taking a look at the plasma weapons. All of them, because they're all just kind of in one category in this. It's going to be similar when we talk about the laser rifle. Normally the plasma guns are kind of separated, but since in Fallout 4 you can modify them to be all sorts of different weapons, they are just essentially one weapon, and there is also two unique versions that we need to talk about. So the plasma gun for stats deals 24 damage on hit, plus another 24 damage from the plasma, so you actually get pretty decent damage per shot here. This has 116 damage per second. It does actually do a good amount of damage per second. This has 119 range and 140 accuracy. The plasma gun has surprisingly long range, even in its pistol form it does. Actually, even more so in its pistol form for whatever reason. You can actually get up to like 300 range with this thing if you have the pistol grip on it. It has longer range than like the rifle stock does. I don't know why that is. This costs 30 action points to be using in VATS, which is kind of high, but not the worst. This has a magazine of 30. Normally, its magazine can fluctuate a lot, though. And then the regular plasma pistol weighs 3.9 weight. That can also fluctuate quite a bit depending on how you would like to build this. For the pros of the plasma pistol, this one does have pretty good damage and pretty good damage per second. It actually kills things quite fast. It also has pretty long range. As I stated, it does have long range. However, it doesn't have the best range because of the slow-moving projectile. We'll talk about that when we get to the cons. And it also has really good mods. This one is super flexible. You can build it as a pistol, you can build it as a rifle, you can build it as a shotgun, you can build it as a weird, almost flamethrower-like weapon. So it has quite a few different ways that you can play this. The major con to this, though, is that it does have a slow projectile speed. Regardless of how you're using it, its projectile doesn't move fast, unless you're using it in the weird flamethrower type way, in which case then you're going to have very close range. That could also be a con for that one in particular, and that one also eats through ammo. So depending on how you build this gun, it could have a couple different cons and a couple different pros. For perks that you want to take with this, take Rifleman if you want to be using this as a rifle, Gunslinger if you're going to be using this as a pistol. I think that Rifleman and Gunslinger also affect the flamethrower type build just based on the stock that you have on it, so still go with those ones if you're going in that way. And if you're building it like a shotgun, also build it either pistol or rifle, depending on how you like that. So it is pretty flexible there, but it does make it so the perks are kind of weird for getting extra damage. Aside from that, other perks could also be helpful, like action points if you like using VATS. That could also work really well. The plasma pistol is honestly a pretty decent early game and mid game handgun. You're probably going to be finding this more towards the mid game, but you can rush some of these pretty early on. There are a few places where these do spawn. Plasma cartridges might be difficult for you to get a decent amount of. It depends. Sometimes I find a lot of them. Sometimes I just don't find very many at all. So the usefulness of this can vary quite a bit. But overall, I would say the plasma pistol is pretty solid. For an overall rating for that weapon, I would probably put it into B tier. It's pretty decent at everything, but it can get better with certain upgrades. So let's talk about a modified version of it. For the attachments I'd recommend for the plasma gun, this one's going to depend on how you're building, whether you're building for pistols or rifles, and whether you want this to be more of a pistol, rifle, or a shotgun. First up, for a capacitor, I'd recommend just going with the overcharged capacitor. This will get you the most amount of damage, and I just find it to be the best out of the group. There are some options for fire if you like that, but usually I'll just go with the more damaging capacitor there. For barrels, this is where things change up quite a bit, because this is going to kind of dictate how your gun works. And for me personally, I really like either the improved sniper barrel or the improved splitter barrel. The splitter barrel makes it so your plasma gun becomes a shotgun. The sniper rifle makes it into a sniper rifle. You do have some other options here too, like fully automatic or flamer. I don't find those to be as useful. I don't think they're as good of use for your ammo as the other two options. If you're going with a fully automatic energy weapon build, then it does make sense to go with the automatic barrel. But generally I'll go with the sniper rifle barrel, which makes it so my ammo goes down quite a bit. It goes from 30 all the way down to just 12 shots, so it's not that many shots overall. It's still more than enough for a semi-automatic rifle like this though. And that's why I like it so much. The improved splitter also kind of reduces your ammo, but it's because it uses up more ammo every time that you shoot it. This does do pretty good damage though, and you could have one of each. Have a full-size shotgun and have a full-size rifle that both use the same ammo. That's actually really good too if you like using energy weapons. I could totally recommend that. Or if you want to have a pistol, you could also do that. That's why I'd recommend either a rifle or a shotgun, not so much the flamer or the automatic weapon. For a grip, this is also going to depend whether you want a pistol or you want a rifle. For the pistol, go with the comfort grip. This gives you the best accuracy. surprisingly good accuracy for some reason. I don't know why. If you're going with a rifle, then go with the recoil compensating stock because it's just going to be the best stock that you can throw on there. And then finally for sights, you can pick whatever sights you would like. You could go with a scope if you're using this as a sniper rifle. You probably don't want that if you're using it as a shotgun or if you're using it as a pistol. For those ones, you might want something like the reflex sight or just the iron sights or maybe the glow sights. Those are all really good options. Technically, a scope will get you the most amount of damage just because of the one magazine that gets you more damage thanks to adding scopes, but I really don't think it's necessary on these weapons. Turning your weapon into a plasma shotgun, plasma pistol, or a plasma rifle, I think improves the weapon quite a bit, at least with all of these, and I would put all three of these up into A tier. They're all really good, and they're all just a really solid weapon. Now, we do have two unique versions of this that we need to talk about. First up is the Experimental 18A. This one you can buy from the Synth Requisition Officer in the Institute, so it does take you quite a while to get to this unless you're rushing the main storyline, since you're not going to find the Institute right away, but if you do want to rush it, you absolutely can for this weapon. The legendary effect that the Experimental 18A has is that it has Rapid. Rapid gives you 25% faster rate of fire, and it also gives you 15% faster reload speed. Rapid is actually a pretty decent legendary effect. I don't think it's one of the best legendary effects you could have on a weapon like this, but it's pretty decent. So I'd put the Experimental 18A probably also up into A tier. It's okay. I'm not going to really rush it though, especially since I have to get through the majority of the main quest line just to buy it if I want to use it. And if I end up getting a legendary plasma gun, there's a good chance I'm going to get a better effect than something like Rapid. Again, Rapid's not bad. It's very much like above average in my opinion compared to other legendary effects, but just not really one of the best. The other unique plasma gun is much better because it does have one of the best legendary effects on it. So this one's the Sentinels Plasma Caster, and this one does have the instigating effect on it. Instigating makes it so whenever you attack an enemy that's at full health, you actually deal double damage on that first hit. And that's really good. This weapon is really strong, and you can turn it into a shotgun and just sneak around and shoot things and one-shot them, or you can turn it into a sniper rifle and sneak around and one-shot things with it. It's really good. This weapon I would put all the way up into S tier. It's very strong overall. It doesn't really come with the best mods on it by default, at least usually. Sometimes mods can change. I'm not entirely sure what causes that, but sometimes whenever you get a unique weapon, they may or may not have different mods on them from the normal. Because usually this one just has like a short barrel and a pistol grip, and it just works as a regular plasma gun, but if you turn it into a full sniper rifle or a full shotgun, it's going to work really, really well for you. You get this one from the Predwin, from the Brotherhood. You do have to buy it there, and you do have to complete a quest in order to get access to it. That's not super difficult, but it is still at least like halfway through the game, or at least halfway through the main story in order to get this weapon. I would say this one's worth rushing more than the Experimental 18A, but you may not need to rush either of these. Usually I can get a couple plasma guns before this just from random legendary drops, and I might get something that's decent. Maybe not as good as Instigating, maybe not even as good as Rapid, but I'm not really in a rush to actually go and grab these. Tell me your thoughts on the plasma weapons, because this actually covers all of them. These are the only three. Thank you guys so very much for watching this. Hope that you guys enjoyed it. I'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye, everyone.